Test of Visual Perceptual Skills Revised by Caroline, Emily, and Heather. The purpose of the Tvps-R, it is a non-motor test that aims to determine a client's visual perceptual strengths and weaknesses. The definition of visual perception is the ability of the brain to interpret what the eyes see. The population is ages 4 to 12 and 11 months. Our patient was a 12-year-old with ADHD. It tests the following visual perceptual skills. There are 7 total: visual discrimination, visual memory, visual spatial relationships, visual form constancy, visual sequential memory, visual figure ground, and visual closure. Best practice procedures are as follows. The testing environment should be well lit, quiet, and free of any distractions. The subjects are not to be tested while tired or sick. Early morning is generally the best testing time. The examiner should have all test materials prepped and arranged prior to test administration. General directions for administration. There are specific directions that are to be verbally read using the instructions provided that precede each of the 7 subtests. The subject is told to either point to their selection or say it aloud. An example should be administered prior to each subtest. If the subtest gives an incorrect answer to the following example, the examiner is to explain the correct answer before proceeding. All responses, whether correct or incorrect, are to be documented in the individual record form. While this is an untimed test, examiners are to limit the time a person takes to make each selection, no more than 10 to 15 seconds generally. The following is our video demonstration. Here are our resources.
Hi, my name is Caroline and I'm going to be your occupational therapy student today. Today we're going to perform the test of visual perceptual skills, the revised version. This is our 12-year-old patient. We will start with the visual discrimination portion. So looking at this top form, can you point to the one or tell me the number at the bottom that matches the top?
That would be number 3.
Looking at this top one, can you tell me which one matches at the bottom?
That would be number 5.
Looking at this top one, can you tell me which one matches along the bottom?
Number 1.
Looking at the top one, can you tell me which one matches at the bottom?
Number 2.
Looking at the top one, can you tell me which one matches at the bottom?
Number 5.
Looking at the top one, can you tell me which one matches along the bottom?
Ooh, that one's close. Number 4.
Looking at this top one, can you tell me which one matches at the bottom?
Number 4.
Looking at this top one, can you tell me which one matches at the bottom?
Number 1.
Looking at the top one, can you tell me which one matches along the bottom?
Number 3.
Looking at the top one, can you tell me which one matches along the bottom?
Number
Looking at this top one, can you tell me which one matches along the bottom?
Number 5.
Okay, look at this form and remember it so that you can find it on another page.
Okay.
Okay?
Got it.
Now find it among these forms.
Number 3.
Look at this one, and then we'll do the same thing.
Got it. Number 2. Got it. One. Got it. What is 4? Okay. One. Okay. 5. Got it. 2. Got it. Ninja Star 4.
Okay, we're done. Here are some forms that are the same, but one form is going a different way, or part of one of the forms is going a different way. Can you point to the different one?
Yes. Number 2.
Which one is different?
Which one's different? Different is 3. Different is 5. Different is 3. Different is 1.
Okay, we're done. Look at this form. Find this form among these 5 forms, even though it may be smaller, bigger, darker, turned, or upside down.
That would be 3. That would be 5. Oh, well. Number 4. Number 3. Number 1. Number 3.
Okay, look at this form. Now find the exact form or same form among these forms below.
Number 3. Number 1. Number 2.
Okay, we're done. Okay, look at this form and then look at the figures below, which are incomplete. Can you point to the one form that would be like the form above if it was completed?
Yes, ma'am. 4. 2. 4. 3.
Okay, we're done. Okay, look at these forms very closely. Remember this form so that you can find it among other forms.
Okay. Got it.
Can you find it among these?
Yes, number 4.
Okay, so the answer is actually 1. Okay, do you know
Okay.
why?
I think I must have missed a shape.
Okay, because the triangle and the plus came first, or the triangle came first and then the plus.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
Okay, got it.
So look at this one and then I'll flip it for you to answer.
Got this one. Circle was first. 1. Got this. Got it memorized. And the answer is 3. Got it. Answer is 3. Got it. Answer is 2.
Okay, we're done. So this is the scoring for the test of visual perceptual skills revised. So our patient for visual discrimination, he got all the way right up to 6, and then he hit the ceiling because he got 4 wrong. So the score we'll give him for visual discrimination is 6. For visual memory, he got all the way up to number 3 right, meaning that we're going to give him a 3 because the ceiling hit where he got 4 in a row wrong right here. For visual spatial relationships, he immediately started missing, hitting the ceiling edge, so he gets a 0 for this. For visual form consistency or constancy, he got the practice round right and he got the first one right, but then he hit the ceiling, missing 4 in a row, so he only gets 1 point. For visual sequential memory, he got the first one right, but then he missed 3 out of 4, hitting the ceiling, meaning he only gets 1 point. For visual figure ground, he got the first and the second one right, but then hit the ceiling, so he gets 2 points. And for visual closure, he immediately started missing them, 3 out of 4, so he gets 0 points. So our patient was SC and he was referred by his teacher for ADHD, and he was quick to respond towards the end of the test, so this was a good assessment for him. And so for time purposes in this video, we're just going to score visual discrimination and show you how to do it. So his raw score for visual discrimination was a 6. So you can refer to table 17 to get visual perceptual ages.
Underneath visual discrimination, he had a 6, so you go down to the 6 and you see that his visual perceptual ages was 4 to 5, and you put it on this form. So for standard score, scaled score, T-score, percentile ranks, and this last one for visual discrimination, you find the raw score, which was 6, and you need to make sure in the tables in the back of the manual you go to his correct age. So he was 12 years and 4 months. So for visual discrimination, in this page, you go to the raw score of 6, and you see his standard score was 55, his scale score was 1, T-score was 20, percentile rank was 1, and the last one was 1. So I'm just going to convert these over to the score sheet. After you would fill all of this out, you add up the sum of the scaled scores and get a number right here, and you go to table 16 in the manual and you find the number, and then you can look over and find the visual perceptual quotient as well as the percentile rank. So just as a reminder, the visual perceptual ages is the second column. To get the median visual perceptual age, because there are 7 subtests, the 4th highest perceptual age is the median age. So once you get the total percentile rank for all the subtests, you can plot it over here to get an idea if the patient is close to the average, and the average is normally 50 with the 10s.